dawn on June 7, 1917, at the Western Front, near the small village of Messines. The British Army is preparing to execute one of the most audacious offensives of the Great War. The Battle of Messines was a meticulously planned operation to obliterate the German forces from their strategically critical high ground. The challenge was formidable. The Messines Ridge offered the German forces a formidable defensive position, providing them with a height advantage that allowed observation over British positions around the city of Ypres. Since capturing the ridge early in the war, the Germans had fortified the area with deep trenches, underground bunkers, and heavy artillery placements, making it a deadly barrier to any Allied advance in the region. To overcome this, the Allies turned to a revolutionary tactic: underground warfare. For almost 2 years, they covertly dug 22 tunnels under the enemy lines, filling them with over 1 million pounds of explosives. The miners worked in complete silence and secrecy, under constant threat of cave-ins, gas poisoning, and enemy countermining operations. They dug tunnels up to 80 feet below the surface to lay explosives directly beneath German fortifications. German tunnelers came within meters of several British mine chambers and even discovered one. As a result, British tunnelers had to be even more careful and made minor attacks in upper levels to divert attention from the mines. The plan was set, the mines were laid, and as 0 hour approached, over 100,000 British, Australian, Canadian, and New Zealand troops readied themselves for what was to come. The air was tense with anticipation. The success of this operation would break the deadlock of the Western Front and shift the momentum of the war. As the minutes ticked closer to the launch of the offensive, the Allied soldiers and commanders faced numerous challenges. The first obstacle was slogging through mud with heavy rain, trying to avoid detection by the enemy as they moved into position under the cover of darkness. Yet, the most daunting challenge lay underground. The miners had to ensure that all 22 mines were ready to detonate simultaneously. Some mines had been lying for more than a year, and they were concerned about their condition. The tension in the tunnels was palpable, as a single mistake could mean the failure of the mission and the certain death of everyone near. Above ground, the infantry troops readied themselves for what would come after the explosion. The plan required precise coordination of engineering, infantry, and artillery elements. To maximize the element of surprise and the effectiveness of the mines, over 2,300 artillery pieces were prepared to open fire immediately after the mines were detonated. Artillery had to strike at enemy positions to prevent German forces from organizing a counterattack during the infantry assault. As soon as the mines exploded, they needed to advance quickly through the devastated landscape, using the enemy's confusion and disarray. Timing was critical. Too slow, and the German forces might recover. Too fast, and they could be obliterated with explosions themselves. The evening before the offensive, General Sir Charles Harrington, Chief of Staff of the Second Army, spoke to the press. "Gentlemen, I don't know whether we are going to make history tomorrow, but at any rate we shall change geography." The anticipation and tension reached their peak as the miners completed their work. The artillery was set to fire, and the infantry troops prepared to charge. At 3:10 a.m. on June 7, 1917, the quiet early morning was shattered by the simultaneous detonation of around 1 million pounds of explosives embedded deep beneath the German positions, erupting in a cataclysmic blast. 19 out of 22 massive mines exploded almost simultaneously, ripping through the earth, annihilating German trenches and sending shockwaves miles away. In mere seconds, entire landscapes were permanently transformed, and the German, until a moment ago, impenetrable front line was obliterated. The mines exploded within just 20 seconds, creating one of the largest non-nuclear blasts in history. The blast left German troops stunned and horrified, many killed instantly. Countless soldiers lay dead among the massive craters torn open by the explosions, some as large as 80 feet deep and 300 feet across. The sight was apocalyptic. Flames and debris soared into the sky. The sound of the explosions was so immense that it was heard in London, over 140 miles away. German soldiers who survived the initial blasts were left stunned, disoriented, and demoralized, their lines of defense in utter ruin. This was the turning point of the battle. With the German fortifications destroyed, the Allies had a brief, pivotal window to exploit the chaos. 100,000 British, Australian, Canadian, and New Zealand troops surged forward in a coordinated infantry attack. They moved swiftly through the smoke and debris, capturing the stunned and scattered German troops. The meticulously planned assault achieved a breakthrough that had seemed impossible in previous years of stagnant trench warfare. The strategic impact was immediate and profound. Within hours, the Allies had captured the ridge, achieving a crucial vantage point and inflicting severe casualties on the German forces. Over 10,000 German soldiers were casualties in the first few moments of the day, with many more taken prisoner as the Allies advanced. The successful breach in the German defenses not only allowed the Allies to recapture lost ground, but also inflicted a severe blow to the morale of the German forces. As the dust settled, the strategic implications became apparent. The Allies now had a more advantageous position from which to launch future operations, fundamentally altering the dynamics of the Western Front. The success at Messines would later serve as a blueprint for the larger Third Battle of Ypres, shaping future Allied tactics. However, the victory was not without cost. The intense artillery and infantry engagements that followed the mine's detonation led to significant casualties on both sides. The landscape around Messines was scarred with craters and ruins, even today showing the battle's ferocity. In the days that followed, engineers and medical teams worked tirelessly to clear the debris, tend to the wounded, and restore order to the chaos of war. The victory at Messines also set the stage for the grueling battles that were to come later in the year. In response to the loss of Messines Ridge, German forces had to re-evaluate their defensive strategies in the region. The impact of the mines led to changes in German military engineering and tactics, including deeper, reinforced bunkers and an increased focus on countermining techniques. Some of the mines at Messines were never used or were abandoned because tunnels collapsed or were destroyed by German countermining efforts. Even today, one such mine remains buried beneath a farm, leaving us uncertain if it could ever activate again. The Battle of Messines reminds us of the dark realities of war, the loss of life, the strategic victories, and the personal sacrifices made by soldiers on all sides.